What's up, Lantern fans? It's the Emerald Enthusiast, back with another Green Lantern collectible review. This time, I'll be looking at the DC Direct, DC Comics, Pocket Superheroes, Green Lantern box set, featuring Kyle Rayner, John Stewart, Alan Scott, Jade, Guy Gardner, and Hal Jordan as Parallax. The figures are visible through the front of the package. The top of the box says Pocket Superheroes and Green Lantern. We get this group action shot of the figures on the back of the box. I really appreciate this box-style packaging, although I wish that Jade, Guy, and Hal were completely visible in the way that John, Kyle, and Alan are. But I do like that there's a window for the personal power battery. This box set features a distinctly 1990s vibe, with Alan Scott in his bright red and green Sentinel costume. Kyle Rayner is clad in his original costume that readers first saw in Green Lantern Volume 3. John Stewart is wearing his primarily black modern costume. Each of the male figures in this box set feature wide torsos with stubby limbs. Hal Jordan wears his easily identifiable Parallax costume. Guy Gardner is clad in the outfit that he wore when he had his own solo series in the 1990s. Jade is wearing the costume that DC readers first saw in All-Star Squadron number 25 in 1983. These figures feature minimal sculpting, with most of the detail being paint application. Jade is the smallest figure in this box set, at about 3 inches in height. Her proportions are slightly more realistic than those of her male counterparts. Even though I didn't expect much from the rings, I was still disappointed. These are all comprised solely of paint with minimal attention to detail. Here is a look at each of the rings, including the ring that Guy Gardner got from Sinestro's body at the end of the story Guy Gardner Reborn. Guy's ring was especially hard to capture on camera since it is bright yellow paint over white paint on the hand. All of the rings are quite small, and they are difficult to see without placing them under some type of magnification. None of the head sculpts feature any sculpting on the faces, although the hair on each one is excellent. Jade's hair is a much darker shade of green than her skin, which is a comic-accurate look. Likewise, the symbols on the costumes are solely paint, although the line work on each one is very precise. Here's a closer look at Jade's costume, which is difficult to capture on a white background. This set comes with this light green inner tray, so if you decide to buy this box set, you might want to use this as a display for your figures. Here is a close-up of Alan Scott in his Sentinel costume. This figure has no ring because it represents an era where Alan Scott was manifesting his powers through his hands. This figure features blonde hair and a high-collared green cape. Of course, John Stewart sports the symbol of the Green Lantern Corps. This figure's eyes are an attention-grabbing bright green. And the figure features closely cropped hair. Guy Gardner's head sculpt features the character's trademark bowl haircut, and the face features a surly expression. Here are the symbols on the jacket as well as the boots. These have been executed very well for figures that are roughly in the 3 3/4 inch scale. Parallax features a comic-accurate symbol on the chest, at least for this style of figure. There's some very fine paint work on the trim of this costume. And although the cape is too short to be comic accurate, there are some wrinkles sculpted in for a layer of realism. I would have preferred a more menacing expression for this figure, although the mask and the gray streaks in the hair are comic accurate for this time period. Kyle Rayner's figure features the original symbol designed by Daryl Banks on the chest. The head sculpt features my favorite mask in all of comics, Kyle Rayner's crab mask. Although the color and shape are accurate, it is slightly oversized. Each of these figures feature 6 points of articulation, and as you might expect, the articulation is very basic. There's rotation at the waist and the necks, and in most cases there's a little bit of friction between the hands and the thighs. So if you decide to pick up this box set, be careful if you articulate the figures to avoid doing any paint damage. Due to the high collar on the cape, Alan Scott's head sculpt is limited in its articulation. Each of these figures have arms that can do a 360 at the shoulder joints. Be careful with Hal Jordan's figure since there's some friction with the cape. Obviously, these figures are a product of their time, and the articulation is simplistic. With the exception of the neck joint on Alan Scott's figure, all of the joints on these figures move in a smooth fashion to give collectors posing options. Here's a look at the personal power battery, and there is some movement with the handle, which has been slightly warped due to the packaging. I'm impressed by the translucent plastic in the middle. I just wish that there were more batteries included with this box set. All of the figures come with gripping hands that will allow you to place the personal power battery in them. All of the figures can hold the battery fairly well, with the exception of Jade, who has hands that are too small to form a good grip. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to this channel and make sure to check out my many other action figure and other collectible reviews. I would certainly appreciate it. You can also find me on Multiverse Musings, the vidcast, which is available right here on YouTube, and that's the home of the Emerald Echo podcast, where we cover the adventures of all of your favorite ring slingers. And I'll be back with more Green Lantern content soon. But until we meet again, this has been the Emerald Enthusiast, and thanks for watching.